New Year's Eve, I suppose, historically speaking, there was probably a lot more activities in the hotels and the pubs, and I'd say there will still be a lot of, I suppose, celebrations in those areas. However, we found over the last number of years, a lot of people might be drinking at home earlier in the day and then decide to go out. That's a real recipe for the disaster, particularly if they're going to drive a vehicle. And I think, look, families and friends and people that are home for holidays or whatever, everybody has a responsibility to mind each other, particularly over New Year's Eve. And look, it's not just on roads policing matters as well. Like, we've also people that might go out over indulge and are kind of left behind and end up kind of without their friends or without their whoever they went out with. And unfortunately, then those people try and get home on their own. And we've had a couple of very sad situations where people have been fatally injured or seriously injured as a result of trying to make their way home on their own. So I think if I was to ask people to, if you go out in a group, take responsibility for the group. Obviously, a designated driver is the best solution if you have to drive and you don't have the public transport, which it can happen out around rural Clare. Obviously, there is not the same infrastructures around the cities. I appreciate that as well. But a bit of planning and a bit of, I suppose, somebody taking responsibility is very important, particularly as we come into New Year's Eve. And again, celebrations will take place and we want everybody to make sure they enjoy themselves. But particularly into New Year's Day as well, we've seen a high level of people still intoxicated the following morning into New Year's Day, and we will be mounting checkpoints the morning after as well, because there are a number of higher risks associated with people overindulging on a night out, not giving themselves enough time for the alcohol to leave the system, or even the worst, the intoxicants, and then still going in and driving the following day. So, all over the Christmas period, we're asking people to mind your job, mind your car, mind your license, mind your family, and make sure that you have a safe Christmas and you don't, I suppose, the emergency services, we have enough to do over the Christmas period. Obviously, attending collisions and fatal collisions, unfortunately, has now become part of our part of our duties over these festive seasons. But in reality, if there was no fatal collision or no serious collisions, nobody would be happier than those in the emergency services, and we can go out and do our jobs to the best of our ability and help people in other ways that we need to as well over the Christmas period. So look, I want to wish everybody a very happy Christmas, a very safe Christmas, and into the new year as well. And I wish everybody a happy new year from Garda Síochána in County Clare.
Yeah, I suppose just to put a bow on it, you've got your New Year's festivities, and as you mentioned, the heating that morning about New Year's Day, but I suppose you've got your New Year's resolutions, and I suppose a good one to that might just be to make sure the car is roadworthy.
And look, as we come into the new year as well, some of the New Year's resolutions, if you're going to maybe walk more or do a little more cycling or whatever it might be. And again, look, if everybody could make a New Year's resolution to make sure before they go on the road that they take the necessary precautions. If you're out walking, make sure you have the necessary yellow jacket on. Make sure of your times, make sure that you're not putting yourself at risk. Cyclists and e-scooters, again, we're asking parents not to buy any e-scooter for anybody under the age of 16. It's legal to buy it for them. And we want the users of them then that are out there, that are legal, to make sure their lights are working, make sure they have yellow jackets on. And although helmets are not mandatory, we'd be advising people to wear helmets on those vehicles as well. And then the vehicles themselves, look, New Year's resolution, check your vehicles, make sure they're roadworthy. And as we move into 2026, then just let's everybody work together to keep the roads safe and reduce the absolute tragedies that we've seen unfold during 2025, and look, minimise those events and maximise the safe environments that we all want on our roads.